All right.
What up?
How's it going? Perfect. Good sight. Corey, are we live on the audio?
Yes.
All right, you guys. Welcome to the Vigilante podcast, episode 41. Things are getting exciting. We're moving along. Man, I can't believe we're already 41 episodes.
I know. It doesn't seem like it.
You know,
It's crazy.
That's almost at least 41 hours, you know, at least talking, whether it be on the mic or off the mic with our guests. And that's a week's worth of work right there.
Yeah.
You know, so that's cool to see. We're moving along. Things are developing. We have a couple special guests here tonight. This is actually my cousin, Sydney Vigil, and then her friend,
Sam Hooper.
Sam Hooper today. Always the Trail Ninja rocking with us.
Hey, guys.
So excited and blessed to have us here. It's going to be cool today because we get to see Sydney. Are you still in high school, or did you just graduate?
No, I graduated.
Barely graduated, and this is your last year. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm in my senior year right now.
Started first day today, actually.
Okay, happy first day, boss.
Thank you. I wish I was graduated, but
Hey, it comes and it goes fast, brother.
Yes,
So
it does.
enjoy it while you can. But we're blessed because it's been. I feel like I learned really a massive amount of life skills in high school. I got hit the hardest in some aspects for sure, but I really gained and gleaned a lot from that. It's going to be cool to hear these guys' perspective, just because most people, and it breaks my heart sometimes when you hear others like, man, back in the high school days, like that was their prime.
Yeah.
No, this should be the catalyst. This should be the launching pad for your prime, for the rest of your life. Wherever you're at right now, whether you're 12, 20, 50, or 80, that should be your prime.
Yeah, but you're right. You get a lot of people, you know, I have friends that they can't let high school go.
Yeah.
I'm almost 50 years old.
Right.
And all people do is talk about high school.
Yeah. The high school days, the parties, the fights, and it's fun to reminisce. It absolutely is. But it's exciting to see a new perspective as we start growing here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to let you kind of kick it off with the beginning question, if that's all right.
All right. Yeah. So we have Sam on here who was kind of explaining a little bit of his high school days to me when we was at home, and I'm interested in seeing like the difference from when I was in high school. I was in high school 30 years ago, and how things are different now with social media.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we didn't have social media back then. We had a rotary phone.
Okay.
We had a cord that we used to have to drag from the kitchen into the bedroom and shut the door to be able to talk to someone in private.
You still have that phone.
My mom still has it.
She still has the phone.
It's crazy, but I'm interested in seeing the difference. Sam, why don't you tell us one of your stories, and then we'll just kind of go from there on.
One of my stories is, I never really took school that serious until this year. This year, it's my final year. I don't get a second chance after this. So I've been screwing up, but this year it's kind of like it gets kind of real for me. So I have to, I'm behind. I need 27 credits to graduate. So I was supposed to have 24 graduating from my junior year, and I only have 22.
Oh.
So even though I'm behind, I'm still taking college courses. I'm taking communications, business management, because I do want to own a business one day. And I just never took school that serious because I always thought I can do a job without school.
Mm-hmm.
The school is really important. It teaches you like fundamentals, like how to study and stuff like that, how to like keep your brain going, how to learn pretty much. I mean, homework, I'm not good at it, but I know I have to do it. And I don't know if you were the same way in high school.
Yeah, school came easy to me.
School came easy.
Yeah, it just did. I didn't do a lot of homework. I would study like right before the test.
Yeah, I don't study.
I would always do well.
I didn't even study.
I'm
and
really-
I still
yeah,
failed.
I'm really good at testing. Like my grades have never been good, but like my counselor showed me all my test scores. I'm amazing at tests. Like I've always passed them.
Is it memorization skills?
Yeah, I think I have my dad. Like my dad, like you misplaced something by like an inch, he'll notice. Like you literally have to put everything back perfectly.
Wow.
Like it's insane. So I think I kind of got his memory. Like I can remember directions. Like I can go to your house one time. I know exactly. I could be in Salt Lake. You live in Ogden. I'm getting you to your house.
Right.
Without you even saying a single word. Like it's just memory.
Yeah.
So I can sit there during a test and think about a question, and then like I don't know what it is. Like I kind of just sit there for a second. I close my eyes and I have to think not even about that question, just questions that like are relevant to that subject. I can usually get the answer.
Yeah, especially if it's multiple choice.
Yeah, multiple choice makes stuff a lot easier.
Yeah.
You get good at answering
Oh,
questions. Like you can start process of elimination, knocking things out. And you're in for a good treat, especially when you are getting tested like that.
Yeah.
What I am interested in having is after we have this episode here is once you graduate, maybe next year as we continue rolling with this, or even the following year, I would like to be able to follow up on this episode and see where your mindset's at, to see what's changed, to see what viewpoints have changed, because it's interesting to see as well. I feel that most people after high school, they stop learning, and it's like, okay, I passed my classes, I got my high school degree. But one of the biggest questions I want to ask you right now, you have one more year left of high school. Sydney, you just graduated high school. Do you feel that high school has prepared you to take on the real world?
No.
And I don't think
100%
not at
no.
all. I mean, there is some classes, obviously, that will teach you, like, there's child development stuff that, like, when you have kids, like, it matters. But, like, straight out of high school, it's not. You're not gonna. It's only teaching you to go to more school. Like, you actually have to experience life to understand it. School, there's no classes that really teach you, like, about life.
Yeah, there's
So-
always those people that say, oh, I need to learn more about taxes and how to write a check and all of this stuff, which they do kind of teach you, but it's not always a progressive thing. Like, okay, you really need to know this to, like, live on your own. And it's just not really preparing me that much. I go to work every day. And
So that brings up a good point. Do you think it's because most teenagers don't know exactly what they want to do? So if they did, they could take those classes that steer them that way, and then it obviously prepare them for what they need. But most teenagers don't know.
Right.
Well, that's what I think. I'm like 90% sure what I want to do. So I want to graduate high school, obviously, and then I want to go to Weber State to major in communications and minor in business. And maybe I'll own my own business one day, but the main goal is to become a business executive. Just help somebody run their business. That's like that main goal for me. I never really want to run my own business. I don't think I can handle that much stress. But helping someone do it, being like a CFO or something, I think I'm the guy for it.
So a C-level executive.
Yeah, like I want to talk to people for the rest of my life. I want to like basically a business executive. You're the guy that writes in the media.
Yeah.
You're the guy that presents stuff like Apple, the new iPhone. I'd be the guy on the stage, or maybe not the guy on the stage, but the guy that preps the person to go on the stage and do it.
Okay.
So
That's good, though, that you know what you're going to do. Like, I have no idea. I'm taking an entire, probably year off of school just to go to work because I need to figure out what I want to do. Going through high school, like, I did cheer and all of that stuff, but I wasn't really thinking about the future as much as I was the present. So I don't know, like, it's so hard to explain. Like, I lived in Germany, and my brother, he talked to me so much about joining the military. And I think that's a really great opportunity because, one, they pay for school, housing, like, where you get to live in all these different countries, and it's amazing. And I really, really, really thought about it, but I can't set my heart to it because I don't know if I can be passionate about it.
So back to that question of did high school prepare you guys for life? If, like Corey was saying, to add on to what he was saying, if schools took the time to find out and say, all right, because let me ask you this before I move on with this question. Did school help you decide what you wanted to do, or did something else say, you know what, that's the type of route I want to take?
I think me screwing up in school led me to where I am.
How so?
Because it taught me, like, if you screw up in school, it's going to be a very challenging life. And I get, like, the harder your life is, makes it easier, like the harder stages. But the way I was going about it is I'm going to be living on the streets in Salt Lake.
Yeah.
Like, that's just, I was not going.
Right.
Like, my attendance was probably 30%.
Yeah.
Like, I was not going to school at all.
Right.
So I was screwing up, but there's, like, there's other reasons behind that. And we can get into that after we're done with this discussion about school. But I was just screwing up. So this kind of taught me to just screw my head on tight and, get my stuff together. So,
yeah.
But school, I don't think so. Business, running a business, stuff like that, it's freedom.
Right.
You can do whatever you want to do with that. And
Right.
being like a business executive, you're kind of the guy that gets to control a lot of the moves the business makes.
Absolutely.
So
you're part of the main team.
Like, you're
the
like-
shakers and the moves
yeah,
of the company.
like, you're one of the big dogs. So business is just freedom. I want freedom. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to be controlled running by a boss that probably didn't go to college.
Right.
He doesn't necessarily have the right education. He just, worked his butt off to get where he is.
Right.
So I want to be the guy that did the education, knows what he's talking about. And as a boss, I don't want to be the guy I'm better than you. As a boss, I want you to learn from me and be better than me. So if one day I'm working for you.
Beautiful. That's a great thing. I mean, that's some of the best coaches in the world. They don't leave an extra trick up their sleeve. They want their students to become better than them so that they can pass it on to future generations.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's interesting you say that because Einstein, go ahead and have some water if you want. Yeah, get comfortable, boss. No worries, we're stopping. But Einstein had a quote, and it was like, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree its whole life, it's going to think it's stupid. Mm-hmm. And there's so many kids that the education system hasn't changed in over about 100 years. You know, so it's so interesting that technology changes, human changes, all of the industry changes except for schooling.
Yep.
And why is that? I have a couple personal theories why that is, but I think that they are not taking the time to really invest in the humans that are developing, the up and coming generations. Because if they did, let's say Sydney, for you example, if I spent your whole 18 years of education or 12 years of education and said, hey, let's start figuring out your strengths, let's start figuring out what you like, let's start figuring out what you're passionate about, and then customizing a school opportunity for you, that would propel you into something completely different. Am I correct?
Yeah.
And if people could do that instead of, hey, let's just have this cookie cutter system and let's put all these people through it and hope that.
Like testing, even. We take millions of tests throughout the 12 years, like saying, oh, I like doing this, and then at the end of the test it says, okay, you will be good at this and this, but that's not really telling me or helping me get good at it. It's just saying you should go into, like, say, I like doing hair and makeup and nails and stuff, and I want to be a cosmetologist.
Right.
It will tell me that I want to be something totally different.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
Doesn't
change
necessarily
it.
correlate.
No,
right.
no.
So you're kind of describing like a trade school.
Yeah, in essence, I mean, it's beautiful. I actually watched an interview on Elon Musk and what he was doing with some of his kids, and he was creating a type of school to where, let's say, instead of, because it's like me, like if you put me in a math class and you're like, T, let's learn some math, and I say, man, like I don't even want to be here. Like, teacher, why? I was that guy. Yeah. Teacher, why are we learning this? Well, you're gonna need it. No, I can pull it up on my phone right here. I got a smart computer in my hand. I know exactly what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm finding out in building our business right now, accounting is something that I needed, but I have people I can reach out to that have those skill sets that I don't. So we're very fortunate there. That said, if the kids, if they wanted to learn, okay, we want to learn how to ride a bike or build a bike so that they can ride. Perfect. So now let's figure out the equations that we need to learn to build this bike. Next thing you know, that math's going to be fun. Man, I'm ready to learn this equation because this is going to help me get to what I want to go to. And I think there's no identification in education right now. And if you can start identifying these kids and what they want to do, they will be more engaged. They'll be more forward thinking, and it's something that we are looking to create. And I'm not going to drop a big bomb on everybody yet, but it's something we're looking to create in a similar fashion for people graduated high school, moving forward, that want to learn in business through our company, Greener Grass Juicery, and it is going to be called the Vigilante education system. So we're excited to see where that takes us and how things go. But I would love to know, and you guys are going to see that. So if you guys want to know more, feel free to reach out, ask me any questions. But I would love to know more about how are you going to execute your plans moving forward.
Well, actually, I want to tie it on to what you were just saying.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen Neil deGrasse Tyson on Joe Rogan's podcast?
Not on his podcast, no, but I do know Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, he describes why public education doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's because they have these half-assed teachers that really don't care.
Well, dude, what's so weird is you're going to start seeing, as you start going to college and these next things, I have people I graduated high school with that they're cool people and all, but I damn well do not want them teaching my kids.
Yeah.
And they're going to be educational teachers. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, like if you think about it, and you can ask yourself right now, how many teachers, professors, whatever, actually changed your life? I'm guessing you. I'm to mess that sentence up.
No, you're all good.
I'm guessing it's maybe 3.
You know, I gotta be honest. I learned more through athletics.
Athletics,
than I did
I
in-
love that. They teach you like everything
Yeah.
about like teamwork and stuff, and it's just
Well, discipline. Discipline's a huge, huge deal.
yeah. That's one thing. Like I grew up with asthma and stuff, so like running isn't always easy for me. But when I was in football, playing at Northridge and stuff, like I'd be dying. Like I felt like my lungs were gonna collapse. I still wouldn't stop because I didn't want to disappoint the coaches,
Yeah.
and I wanted that starting job so bad, and I just would push me to the limits. Like once I got off practice, I could barely stand. My legs, my lungs, everything was just beat. But athletics, I think, were one of the greatest things that happened to me. And I'm going to try out for the basketball team this year. I stopped playing football because I wanted to focus more on education. I didn't see a future in football, so I just stopped playing. But I actually talked to maybe, I don't know if you probably know him, Carson Stokes.
Yeah.
I actually talked to him last year at the beginning of my junior year, and he said, bro, if you didn't quit, you probably would have started varsity. And that like hit me.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I just gave up like a thing I've always wanted. Like since I was 12, 13, I've always wanted to be.
Well, it changes everything. Like you said, you want to focus on education. It's always about your mindset, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's not a bad thing that you quit, but if you really wanted it as a kid and now look at you, you're going for the big run, like you're going for the mile.
Yeah.
You're doing your brain good by wanting education more than athletics.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm getting my brain back to normal. Like I told Corey before we got over here. Like
We'll get into
we'll get into that.
We'll get into some dark stuff and where he's been, because I believe that especially nowadays, it's hard being a teenager.
Mhm.
It's just tough,
Right.
compared to when I grew up.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it wasn't hard. I
Right.
mean, we went through a lot of the same type of stuff, but it's just different now with social media and with everything. In fact, if you're all right with it, I wanted to go back to a story where he started with me when he got pulled over. What happened?
I got pulled over
When was this?
when spring break, like the first week of April.
Of this year?
Yeah, this year.
Okay. You're driving?
I was in Vernal, Utah.
Okay.
3 hours south.
Yes.
And it was almost 12 at night, and I'm not 18 yet, so that's curfew. But it wasn't for curfew. You can't really get arrested for curfew. We saw like a mod, like a vape,
Okay.
and he pulled me out of the car and he asked me how old you have to be to have it. And I said 18. I mean 19 because in Utah, and like now it's becoming 19, and soon it's gonna be 20, and that's gonna be 21. It's ridiculous, but it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I
But,
keep going.
And then he says, all right, go stand in front of my car.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm like, I know my friend has weed on him.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
He's going to get the charge. I'm out of here. Then they do a trick that's actually in the police handbook where they say you have green on your tongue, which weed does not dye your tongue at all. And there's a sheriff and then the normal cop. And when they told me this, I looked down at my feet and I just thought, I'm not going home tonight. So I wasn't high during my arrest, but I still got charged with DUI. But I told them I smoked 4 hours ago. But if I took a drug class and it tells you after 4 hours you are sober from smoking weed. And I got I started getting, I was too nervous. I was not high. The reason I failed the sobriety test is because of nerves. I couldn't stand, my legs were shaking. I had to stand on one leg and count to 30. Couldn't do it. But like my timing test where they have you like sit back like this and like count to 30, I stopped it at 28 seconds. And with weed, time is very slow in your head.
Interesting.
And I mean, if I could really have a voice when it comes to that, everything that happened, I think I could win, because
What do you mean a voice? And
like
when
I'm a minor. They're not gonna listen to anything I have to say. And like my parents and my lawyer told me to shut up.
Yeah, from what you're telling me, you already incriminated yourself.
Yeah. So what I said is I smoked 4 hours ago because I wasn't going home. I could have told them I didn't smoke. I was going to jail at night, but I'm under 18, so I went to juvenile detention instead. And weed also causes short-term memory damage, like memory loss, not memory damage, memory loss. And
While you're high?
yeah, while you're high, it does. So I could literally make a short film off of that night. And that's that's like one thing I could prove, that I could literally redo that entire night on film perfectly how it was. And how if I was high like the officer thought I was, how could I do that? Because I would forget things. And I told my lawyer everything that happened, and even the officer couldn't remember exactly what he did.
Yeah, interesting. And
so I did end up getting arrested.
Okay.
And I spent 2 days in juvenile detention.
You're 17 at this point?
Yeah, I'm 17. I'm almost 18. Thank God I'm 17 because I got a DUI charge. So that would have been real rough. It is rough right now. But
10 years insurance costs too.
Yeah. I mean, my insurance is still going to be 3 times. And I'm on a plea of abeyance, and plea of abeyance does not happen in the Davis district. It doesn't in the Davis, like the Davis County district, and it doesn't happen. Like the judge out here wanted a review date, and when she found out, she was mad that they gave me a plea of abeyance, which means
I think I want to disagree with you there, just because of people that I've had in the past that multiple people that I've known, at least, not specific for a driving while intoxicated with marijuana, but plea of abeyance has been pretty common in the legal system.
Well, over 18, yeah. Under 18 as
Under
well.
18 as well.
Oh, well.
From my knowledge, and I could be mistaken, but so you got a plea of abeyance, and that's a big win.
That's a
huge
win.
Big win right there.
And yeah, I'm on probation. I could be on probation for the full year, but since I've taken like P tests and I'm clean, everything, I'm probably gonna be off in December. And I honestly, being on the plea of abeyance is not where my stress is at. The stress is just probation.
And for the listener's sake, a plea of abeyance is basically you've had a clean track record in the past. You basically say to the judge or whoever is charging you, this is what I'm requesting. Obviously, your lawyer helped you out with this, correct?
Yeah, my lawyer did everything. I didn't even say a single word, pretty much.
Yeah. Yes. And that's obviously I'm no lawyer, but no,
That's smart.
yes, 100%. But so basically, it's a one freebie that they help you get off, in essence.
Yeah, and it's basically, so everything gets dropped by June of next year, because I was June 20th was my official court day out of Vernon.
So you're on a year probation for it?
Yeah, I'm on probation in the plea of abeyance. And probation, the judge that sentenced me said he might terminate the plea of abeyance after 7 months.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I just want all this gone. It's been way too much stress for me to handle. Especially, I got to get my stuff together in school and having this distraction. The law is, biting my ass. You know, like I have to, and if I get caught doing anything illegal between when I got sentenced and now, June of next year, my charges come back and they're double.
Interesting. Yes.
So, and my license will be gone until I'm 21.
Okay.
So I only got a 6-month suspension.
Okay.
I get it back in October. But if I get caught again, I'm gonna have to be riding the bus everywhere.
Right.
So I don't want to be doing that.
Right.
So I just gotta stand straight and narrow and just get my stuff together.
Yeah.
And so it's just, if any kids are watching, I don't know if they are, or even adults, just don't drive under the influence. And especially, I wasn't under the influence. I don't believe I was under the influence because I'm a pretty avid weed smoker. But
I'm a big advocate for marijuana as well. Cannabis is an amazing medicine when used responsibly.
Even if you aren't high but you have weed in the car, don't have drugs in your car. Just don't, and don't drive under the influence, please, because a lot of people die every year from drunk drivers. And I don't think they really focus on under the influence of weed because they can't really prove that at the scene. But just don't drive under the influence, whatever you do. I went to a drug class. I had to watch videos of people that went to prison for DUI manslaughter. And it's sad, and it really hits you. Like, I got chills.
Right.
Like, it's not a joke.
Yep.
Like, I never will get in a car with someone that's been even smoking. I won't do it anymore. I refuse. Like, it literally gives me chills. Like, I'm scared to do it. Sometimes it's the only time to get home. I have to get home, so I have to do it. And even if they were drunk, I'd say, hell no, I'm not getting in that car. But
what's so cool now is, even with technology, people have access to Ubers all the time now. Like back in the day, people didn't have access to Ubers. They weren't able to just pull an app up on your phone and say, hey, I'm intoxicated, I need a ride. And that's awesome.
You see that story in Vegas. The drunk driver got a huge charge for it. He was drunk in an Uber and he pulled the steering wheel. I saw that video. I was like, holy crap. Yeah. It was insane. watching it. I was like, and the Uber guy, like literally, it was not just like a pull, like one
Yeah.
quick. He like held on.
Yeah.
Like it was crazy, and
He was in the front seat.
yeah,
Why?
I think you can sit in the front.
Well, I
seat.
know you can, but I think if I was an Uber driver, it's like a taxi.
Yeah.
I think you sit in the
The,
back.
the best Uber driver is that one that leaves you alone, doesn't talk. You get a 5-star rating that way. You're an Uber driver, so yeah. Just don't drink and drive. I mean, don't ever trust your tolerance. That's one thing I gotta tell people.
Yes. Don't be overconfident.
Don't be over. I mean, it doesn't matter. I have a high tolerance. Like I got diagnosed for. I don't really. I'm like drinking before drinking. I don't know the right term for that, but I've done it, and sometimes it feels like I'm chasing drinks. And
Yeah.
like the person that was teaching me, we talked about it. She's like, you just have a high tolerance, but you can't trust that high tolerance, you know? So I smoked a lot of weed. Like back in the day, we used to go through an ounce a day.
Yeah.
So I always had a high tolerance. So I could smoke. You know,
Yeah.
I'd be smoking a crap ton
Right.
and then go drive.
Right.
And I never got caught until, you know, you can get away with it 900 times, 1,000 times. It only takes one time.
Oh yeah.
And that's
takes
what
one time
that's
to
what
get
kids
wrong,
don't.
and it only takes one time to get right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like, and kids don't get that. Kids
Yeah.
don't perceive the backlash. You know,
Right.
I've hung out with the wildest of people, and I'm a suburban white kid from Layton, Utah.
Yeah.
You know, I shouldn't have been hanging out with them.
Right.
No, I was like 2 kids I know right now. One of them serving 15 to life.
Yeah.
The other one serving 7 years.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't have been hanging out with them. We did dumb things that I can't say.
How
but-
much would you say the people around you affect your outcome in life?
For a teenager, like every teenager, it might have been me. Maybe. Hold on.
Yeah, it's no worries. Throw that bad boy on silent. We'll be all good. What about you, Sydney? How much would you say the
That was
people
me. My-
surrounding you
my-
would? A lot.
Yeah, it's all peer pressure.
It really is.
Like you could literally be like have weed say in the car, and this dude says, "Nah, bro." Like I have a friend. He's gonna say, "No, I'm not gonna smoke."
Yeah.
You're persistent with it, bro. Just take a hit, bro. Take
Yeah.
a hit. Eventually, they're gonna take a hit.
Right.
And it's ridiculous. I mean, peer pressure can get you to do anything, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, it's really you have to be mentally tough.
And how is that built? How's the mental toughness built in a high school age?
In a high school
in
age?
today's day and age, because there's a lot of, just like Corey. I mean, we have a lot of listeners from really 18 to 50 right now. At this point
Yeah.
is our main demographic, and there's a lot of people who have kids that are starting to grow, starting to develop. And yes, you're always preaching to your kids, hey, do better than I did. You're preaching the good things, be smart, make good decisions, etc. But how would you encourage either a young kid in your position, if you could go back, to become mentally tough, or a parent to guide a kid like you to be mentally tough in a situation?
To be more mentally tough as a kid, I'd say don't listen to whatever. It doesn't matter what people say.
Yeah.
Because and this is like, yes, it feels like it was yesterday. My dad hates it when I bring this up, but it got after a junior jazz basketball game, and I was excited. I had like a huge game. I had like 26 points.
Yeah.
That's when I was younger, so 26 points is a lot. I was
Yeah.
I was really good. Now I got tall and lengthy, and I don't have a very good jump shot. But I was like, Dad, I'm a mate. Like I'm good. Like I want to play
Yeah.
like college ball. All this. My dad looks at me dead in the eyes and goes, "You will never play pro basketball."
Mm.
And that broke me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it. Like because I brought it up like maybe a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, that ruined my sports experience.
Mhm.
Like I always wanted to prove you wrong. And that's one thing, but it wasn't to the point where it was like proving him wrong and like being successful for it. It was like proving him wrong to destroy him.
Mm.
It was the wrong motivation.
Because you got hurt, you wanted to hurt him back.
Yeah.
And say, no, I can't. Okay.
Yeah, like that's my dad's been like the coaching dad, I guess you could say. He's been, very vocal. Like he'll come at me, and he knows now I can handle it. When I was younger, and he's actually better now. When I was younger, he used to tear me a new one. My dad's had his struggles.
Yeah.
He came straight out of high school. He had 3 jobs
Yeah.
and going to college, and it was too much of a. He didn't even get through his first year of college.
Yeah.
But he's doing very successful now. He's making 6 figures.
Was he young?
No, he was 32 when I was born. So he already had. I can understand it, but at the same time, I hate it. He's just had a difficult life. He raised her at 18. He was living in New York with his mom and dad, and actually not even his stepdad. His dad died when he was 10 years old. He was on a snowmobile and jumped straight through a barn. Yeah. And he turned 18 years old, and his parents said, "Peace out, we're going to Florida." Left him. Wow. I mean, he didn't hate his parents for it, and there's probably a bigger story that I just got back. That's what my dad told me. So my dad was couch surfing. My dad had 3 jobs. He tried to go to college, but he was still in. I mean, he did do 2 years, but his first year, he showed me the transcript. Like, he failed every class because he was just partying and working. That's all he did. And he even failed racquetball as a class. So, but his second year, he brought out the second year transcripts, and that's when he got his stuff together.
Yeah.
You know, he picked up his bags and everything, and it was straight A's. My dad's a very, very smart person. And like, literally, I walked into the house the other night, and this dude was watching like calculus. Like, he's always trying to learn new things.
Yeah.
He was a straight A student too.
Right.
Like, I'm him, but dumb in school. Like, my life has been very, very similar to his.
Yeah.
Except I never tried in school. He did.
Yeah.
So that's the only difference between me and him. I don't know. It was a hard life, and just like mentally going into it, my dad would break me down. I don't want to call it like emotional abuse or anything, because it was more coaching than anything. It wasn't like he was trying to tear me apart. Like, he always tells me he loves me. Like, no matter what he says, he loves me. Yeah. And he's very good at it now. He doesn't yell. Well, he will sometimes, of course. But he tries to just not. And if I can like motivate people, is just don't listen to what people have to say. You know, it's your life. It's your path. Nobody can decide that for you. Don't let people choose the outcome of your life.
Is there a way you can, not to put words in your mouth, but like rephrase that? Don't listen to the negative things people say.
Oh yeah, definitely focus on the positives. Like, you're amazing.
I mean, but did you have that also growing up?
I couldn't say I did, or at least I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of negative. And so I think that affected my mindset for a long time. And I'm I'm almost 18. I'm almost an adult now. So it's time for me to really grab the reins.
Yeah.
So I'm taking advice, because my dad's he's more giving me life advice. And he thinks I'm never listening, but I am.
Interesting. So it sounds like, from as far as like a young kid growing in the high school demographic, don't listen to the peer pressure. Be strong. Be committed with your values. And then from a parenting perspective, or somebody who has kids going through your type of position, make sure you're very cautious and aware with what you're telling your kids, to be
aware
able
of their
to,
emotions, for sure.
Being aware of their emotions, to be able to tell them, to guide them in the right direction.
Yeah, because as a teenager, your emotions are, it's a roller coaster of emotions. So you have to, kind of think back. Oh, I was a teenager once.
Yeah.
And I felt these ways. Maybe my kids do too. And yeah, they probably do.
And you forget.
It's you just forget. So you're just yelling at them, and you're saying all this hurtful, maybe not like really hurtful stuff, but in a way it's hurtful. Then they might go think about it, and it might really, really affect them. They might think about it for days, weeks,
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, there's no perfect way to parent.
Yeah, right.
See, that's the thing that I'll say is, it's good advice to say, okay, think about what you say before you say it, or whatever. Sure. But you also have to remember that parents were never parents either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm a only child.
Parents are also learning, just like teenagers are learning. So most parents, I mean, there are some you can throw in the other category, but most parents don't say things to hurt their kids.
Yeah.
Like you said, your dad always said he loved you, but he was saying the wrong things. He just didn't know he was saying.
He was just mad. That's what it was. He was just upset about it, because, like I said, my dad just wanted me to just go to school, and I was not scared.
Have you, now that you're 17, you're about to grab the reins, and you're entering the adulthood, have you started to notice that, just like Corey was saying, because when you're little, you think everybody above you, like age-wise, they're bigger than me. They know what they know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And then as you start getting up to this level, especially you now in the workforce, Sydney, you're starting to see that even people 40, 50, 60, 70.
They still don't know what they're doing.
They don't.
They don't know what they want to do in life.
Yep.
Some
And
people just have goals. Some people don't know what they want to do.
Yeah. My aunt, she came out to watch me. My parents went to Portugal, and she just came out to visit it. And I haven't seen her in like a year. So it was kind of cool, but I was sick the entire time. I was really badly sick. But I was feeling a little good one day, and she went out, and we just got deep.
Yeah.
talking about like life and stuff I've done, stuff I've experienced. And she looks at me and she goes, "To be honest with you, I don't know my purpose."
Yeah.
And I don't know her age to be like exactly, but I think she's closer to her 50s now. And
Mhm.
she still says, "I don't think I have a purpose."
Mm.
Like she could literally die tomorrow and she wouldn't care.
Mm.
Like and that hurt me because
Yeah.
that's my aunt. And
Yeah.
I grew up with that. Like, and it's just it affects you when your own like family member comes at you like that. And
Yeah.
and it hurts.
Yeah.
And especially when you're at this age, and I'm getting better mentally, but when you're like depressed or whatever,
Right.
and you're like, oh, when I get older, it's gonna be better. And it really, you have to like beat it. You can't just
Right.
expect age to fix it.
I
'Cause-
think that's where like setting goals comes along, because you have something to look forward to and to work for. And I think that's what having a purpose has to do with. Like, you have a goal, you're going somewhere in life, and then once you reach that goal, you set another one and another one, and you just feel maybe better about yourself because you keep like being successful with yourself and not just like making everyone else happy. You know, you're making yourself happy.
Right.
So
No, and that's something beautiful. There's a lot of religions that talk about purpose and how important purpose is. If you've heard, are you a Nipsey Hussle fan?
I mean, I listened to a few of the songs. I didn't even know who he was until he died, to be honest with you.
Gotcha. He's a rapper, and he just basically said, if you don't know your purpose, you're wasting air.
Exactly.
He said, but F it, all you guys are scared. And it's so interesting. The Bible will even say, and I study a lot of different religious texts and ancient history as much as I possibly can because it intrigues me. Purpose is one of the most important things for a human being to have, because without a purpose, you're completely lost. And just like you said, you start drifting, and you go wherever the wind takes you, and you become a creature of circumstance. And then next thing you know, you get into those dark spots, the depression zones of why am I here? What's going on? Why did this happen to me? Why? Instead of, if you have a purpose, and there's a quote, it says, "A man without a vision shall perish. A man without a dream is dead." If you don't have a purpose, you're just drifting. And that's one of the worst things that could ever happen. And just like you're saying, Sydney, if you have that end purpose, you can start setting those little goals. You can have as many little goals as you want and feel great accomplishing those goals, as long as they're heading towards your main purpose. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you have your purpose.
I think I have my purpose.
Would you mind diving into that?
I think my purpose is to make as many people as I can happy. That's what I want to do. When it comes to when I'm grown, as long as I have, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, I want to have a house, I want to be successful. But when it comes down to it, I'm be selfless.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to try to do the best for the people. And no one does that anymore. It's all about taking your money. So there's tons of scams. And, Apple is, I just bought AirPods. I got them on Amazon. Got the Gen 2 for $30 cheaper than they sell in the store.
Gotcha.
But it's still $170.
Right.
Like, that's ridiculous for a pair of earbuds.
Right.
But, it's all about the brand name.
Yeah.
And they don't care.
Right.
Like, they know you're going to buy it.
Right.
When it comes down to it, I want to give back. I want to be selfless. At the end of the day, you have your purpose. And as long as you're secure with yourself, you're going to be just fine. And then once you're secure with yourself, and even before you're secure with yourself, you always want to give back to the people. You always say it's karma.
Yeah.
You go, there's food drives, and they need like cans of vegetables or whatever. You go into Walmart, you buy a couple of them, you give them to them. It's just little things that will give you good karma and make you feel better about yourself. So giving back to the people, I read this thing, they're trying to decrease the level of poverty, like homeless people and stuff like that. And if they can, that's an amazing thing. If you can give these people that have nothing,
right?
They literally nothing. I mean, except for the clothes on their back, pretty much. If you can give them something, I guarantee at least 85% of them will do the most with it.
Right.
And some of them are just lazy druggies that are just, their money you give them, they're just going to buy drugs.
Right.
That's how they choose to live. But you give some homeless people some opportunity, and even a job at McDonald's, for starters, they're going to take it. They're going to, I've been told and I've heard that a lot of homeless people choose to be homeless.
Yeah.
But, you don't know their backstory.
Right.
And some people just grow up being homeless, like
That's
that,
all
like
I
that
know.
silver medalist, he did that. He ended up being a silver medalist. That's crazy.
But just like you're saying, he decided to make a decision
Yeah.
to not be homeless.
Exactly.
And I think people, in my opinion, I think people do choose. You can't choose everything that happens to you in life, but you can handle how you overcome
Yeah,
and how you react to those obstacles. And I do feel like a lot of those people, because of the habits that they've chose to create in their habit life, continually drove them to that point where they're at now.
Yeah.
And yes, they can get out of it, but they do have to make the decision to get out of it. Some people fall there because life hits them hard. But now once they get there, it's are they going to stay there?
Well, and then they do what I was talking about with you. They start making excuses.
Right.
Yeah, the excuses.
Yeah.
Napoleon Hill talked about, and I know this is completely bad because I don't know the exact name. It was before my time. But was Ronald Reagan the one with the polio or his legs?
No, it was Roosevelt.
Roosevelt.
Yeah.
So Roosevelt, Napoleon Hill was talking about Roosevelt, and he was at the White House. Then he'd walk out, and there's this guy sitting on the outside of the White House, and he had the same, if not a better, education than Roosevelt inside the office. But this man's sitting on the street making excuses as to why he was there. Well, this happened to me, and this happened to me, and this happened to me. But he was more qualified than the man sitting in the presidential chair himself. And it was all a mindset there. I do think that you're 100% on the money as far as giving back and giving people an opportunity. And the people who take the opportunity will run with it, and they'll run heavy with it. Back to being selfless, though, there's something that stuck out in my mind. And I was 18 actually at the time when I first heard it, and I didn't understand because I wanted to be able to be the guy to give back just like you did to the friends and family who have given to me.
Yeah.
And been patient with me while I've grown and developed because I was a dick, man. I was not a kind person.
I've been there. I'm just, I can get that way.
Right.
It's just like our growing up stage, I guess.
Right.
You kind of like, you think you're better than everybody
Mhm.
at some point, and you gotta get over that
Yes.
because you're not better.
100%.
Like nobody's better than the other person. Like
Right.
none of us are better than each other.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
You treat everybody how you want to be treated.
Yes.
If you're a dick, you're gonna be treated like a dick.
Yeah. 100%.
Like you just really have to be a kind person. I mean, some people don't deserve it, and you have to still try. But after a while, you just eventually have to be like, all right, that person's just not gonna work with me.
Yeah.
That's how I grew up, like in high school. My entire sophomore year, like going from 9th grade to sophomore year, that was the time that I was a cheerleader. And the stereotype that cheerleaders are always so stuck up. There are some people like that, and it's true. But there are also people that you had friends before, and they think you're going to change, and it sucks because I never had that mindset, oh, I'm better than them, just because I wear a uniform and cheer at football games and stuff. Like it.
Then
really,
they start treating you different.
They did, and they cut me out of. Well, I actually cut them out of my life. I said, "You are not good for me. I don't want to deal with this." And I just, from there on, I kind of feel like I became a better person myself, and I grew up just a little bit, just because I had that mindset. I'm not better than anybody else. I can't do anything about it. And if they aren't going to treat me right, even girls on the cheerleading team, like if they're not going to treat me right, I'm not going to associate myself with them and be like them just because I am one of them,
And that's an amazing skill to learn at the beginning, is to be able to, sometimes you got to make the cuts because the right people will begin to surround yourself that are like you, like-minded, and going in the same direction. So that's incredible because some people, they want to make a change, but they're stuck in a group and they don't want to feel left out and they don't want to feel belittled.
Peer
And
pressure.
so exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
So they become that person thinking that that's what they need to do. Before I forget about this real quick, I was 18 years old and I went and met Jordan Belfort for the first time. I said, I want to do all this stuff. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to give this. I want to give that.
Jordan Belfort's like the Wolf of Wall Street.
The Wolf of Wall Street. And we talked about being selfless. He's like, Teague, why are you doing this? I said, well, for my kid. He said, Teague, how are you going to give in anything to your kid if you don't have anything? Mm-hmm. He said, you got to get yours first. And he didn't say, and it's not get yours at the expense of others. That's absolutely wrong. He said, you got to get yours first. And you have to understand, sometimes you have to be selfish in order to be selfless?
The selfish part, I think, is the selfish part is beating whoever's like the roadblock. There's somebody in a higher position than you. You gotta punch straight through. Like, that's the selfish part. You can't really care about them
If they're beating you down.
if they're beating, you just have to push through that stuff. So being selfish, trying to get yourself to the top is great, but when it comes down to what you're like, I don't know how to explain it. When it comes, what you get, like what I said is, I'll be fine if I have, a wife, kids, a house, I'm secure. And that's when I'm fine with just giving back.
Right.
And of course, I want stuff for my own. Everybody does.
Well, I'm not saying as far as like what you've already mentioned is like going and grabbing cans and giving to people less fortunate than you. You should do that your entire way up.
Yeah.
But what I mean is being selfish as far as putting you first, just like Sydney just said. She had to put herself first to say, you know what, these aren't my type of people.
Yeah.
And you're putting yourself first right now and being selfish in a way. In a way we weren't taught, because you grow up and selfish is a negative connotation. It's a negative word.
Yeah.
But you're being selfish by saying, hey, I'm not getting in a car with somebody with drugs or alcohol who's been drinking, and that's a good thing to be selfish about. You're saying, hey, I'm disassociating myself with these friends who were going down the path where more people were going to jail and this and that, because you want a different result. You've got to be selfish, and it's okay to be selfish in that aspect, to be selfless. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And it struck me in such a weird way that you got to get yours. And
you got to get yours.
And I'm excited to be able to see you get yours, brother. And anything that we can do to help you along the way, because of how you've been sounding, that you're changing your direction, you're changing your path, you're going to get completely different results.
Oh yeah, I mean, in school today they were showing a video, and I can't remember exactly what it said, but it says if you want to swim across the ocean, you got to expect some sharks.
Yes.
That are going to tear you down.
Right.
You got to muster all your strength and punch them right in the nose.
Yeah.
Like, you got to expect adversity. You can't you're not walking through a field of flowers.
Right.
That's not what life is going to try to beat the hell out of you.
Yeah. And you don't want it.
You don't want it to. And it's going to hurt you when it does,
Right.
but you can't stay down. You have to get right back up to your feet.
Right.
Life's gonna do it itself. It's gonna do what it does to everybody.
Right. But that would be the worst thing in the world, honestly. If everything went so smoothly, there would never be any excitement. There would never be any growth.
There would no be sense of like joy.
Yes.
It would just be, yeah, I'm a millionaire.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, I'm a millionaire. Like, you gotta, like, I did this.
Yep. I earned it.
I earned it. You gotta earn your way to the top.
Exactly.
I mean, some people get lucky, obviously, and they just have, family
Right.
that can get them there. But people like us that were not in families that are completely just loaded with a company ready to go,
Right.
we have to get ours.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
we have to climb.
And it means so much more when you can give it.
Mm-hmm.
When it's that way. Because, for example, like if you, when I was living in LA, I was listening to a guy talk. He's a multi-millionaire, and he was an architect out in LA.
Yeah.
And he was talking about some bigwigs who owned multiple companies. I'm not going to name the names because people will be able to go look them up. But they had some kids, and the kids were just basically had all the money in the world to do anything. Yeah. And he said they were some of the meanest kids you ever had, and they weren't fulfilled in life because they didn't go through any adversity. It would be boring. I mean, imagine this: if you were a king in the ancient times, it would be cool for a little bit. Yeah, you have people that are bringing you grapes. You're hanging out, and like, you got fans, whatever. You got people doing everything you want to do. Yeah. Eventually, it's like, what is next? What's next?
You don't have goals because you have everything you wanted.
Right, and then
or that you needed in your mind.
And then where, just like you said, then there's no fulfillment. And just like going to the gym, everything, it's the most interesting concept because, and I didn't understand it the first time I heard it. I was told, T, the last thing you want in life is money that you didn't earn or an achievement that you didn't earn. Because if you didn't earn it, it's either not going to last long, it doesn't mean as much, and it's not going to be as valuable to you. So next thing you know, it's like, yeah, I have everything, it's cool, and you don't realize it until it's gone.
Yeah,
and if you start when it is gone, you can place the value on it that it deserves to be treated with.
And with like the whole achievement that you didn't earn, like people are like, oh, I cheated most way, and like I'm struggling in school, and I obviously look like I should be the kid that's going to cheat to get us through
Do
senior
you
year.
feel successful if you cheat? Like, do you feel that way?
No, not internally.
And that's the thing.
Mhm.
Like, that's the thing. You
Internally,
don't.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, but then like when I'm like literally today, my friend was saying that I got a great GPA, but I cheated through a lot of it.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to cheat my way through this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to do it.
Right.
I'm going to conquer my senior year so
Yeah.
I can walk out of there with my diploma feeling like I'm on top of the world.
Right. Well, you let us know what we can do to help you conquer that senior year, boss, because that's what I would like to encourage any person, as well as don't wish for the easy route. Wish for the hard route, because the hard is going to make you stronger. This guy named Jim Rohn that I love to listen to, he says, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better.
Mm-hmm.
Obstacles are going to be there.
You're going to grow from it no matter what.
Exactly.
You just gotta keep going. And I was telling Corey before we came over all the stuff I've been through,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you exactly want to get into that. About
Yeah, let's get into
All right,
let's get into the most impactful.
the most impactful thing, and this has to go kind of with my arrest, is my whole junior year I was in like the drug world.
Yeah.
So
Selling.
I wasn't really a seller. I was more like the driver. Like I just drove the dealer around. And it was not smart. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
You think you're in that position where you're like, this is cool.
You feel powerful. And I've been there when I've done things that like you said, should have never been done.
Yeah, and I did, realistically, the things I did do, the actions I did take on some nights, I should be facing 15 to life for things I did, and that's one thing I hate myself for. Just like I literally can think about those days where it's like, wow, why was I did why? It's
Right.
like why, Sam? Why were you doing that?
Yeah.
Why were you there that night?
Right.
You weren't raised to do that stuff.
Yeah.
And it hurts me knowing that I was doing that stuff. And I was doing my hardest drug I ever did was coke.
Okay.
And I mean, it's kind of like a legendary story, but I actually it was a harvest school dance at Northridge.
Okay.
My friend came in and he said, "Bro, you want to do some coke?"
Yeah.
So we went to the bathroom and we did 2 lines.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest drug I've ever, and I liked it way too much.
Yeah.
So,
I got blessed because every time I did, I get sinus infections.
Yeah.
So I got blessed with that
Yeah.
because I'll never want to do it again, just because like 2 nights of cool wasn't worth 1 to 2 weeks of just drip and just raw. You never want to wipe your nose again.
Yeah,
It just sucks.
The drug I think that had the biggest effect on me was LSD. I did it 15 times in 6 months.
Wow.
And I did it 1 week. I did it on a Sunday, and this is in school.
Yeah.
I did it on a Sunday. Maybe it was a Saturday to a Sunday. And then I came on a Wednesday. I wanted to do a self-experiment, so I dropped a tab.
Yeah.
And then my friend comes home from Washington, and he got 6 free tabs.
Yeah.
Because he was a dealer, and sometimes they make deals like that.
Okay.
I was originally going to take 3 tabs.
Yes.
And I already done it twice in a week span.
And something I found out, I've had a lot of people in the psychedelic industry that have touched things like that and experimented. For example, we had a guest on who went to Peru for ayahuasca and a few other things.
Oh, ayahuasca's dangerous.
And I know that people, your tolerance, it doesn't affect you the more you take it, especially in a short-term period like that.
I mean, there's not really. I don't think it's a tolerance with acid. I don't believe in a tolerance with acid. I do because I've met people, but like those people are literally like just like so brain dead where they have to take so much acid. Like somebody literally told me 4 tabs is light work, and I said, "Are you crazy? That is a lot of LSD. That's I think 600 UGs. That's and just a single tab is 150. So I think it's around like 500-600 UGs, and that's a lot of acid. So it's like that third night. So I did it a Saturday, Wednesday, and I believe it was a Saturday.
Okay.
And I took instead of doing 3, I did 2. And I was sitting, wow, I'm feeling it. And when you first start feeling it, it feels great. And all of a sudden the walls came in on me and everything was just coming at me.
Yeah.
And I got like horrible anxiety. I had an anxiety attack.
Yeah.
The first time any of that's happened on any drug.
Yeah.
And I've done perks, Xanax, like those ones obviously you won't have anxiety attacks on. But that one, it was crazy. Like I was laying on my back porch and I was looking at my friend. I was like, bro, I need to tell my dad. Like I need to go to the hospital. But the hospital can't do nothing.
Yeah.
They literally put you in a room and it's even worse.
Right.
And I was freaking out. Like I didn't like this is the first time I've ever had an experience like this, and it was just an anxiety attack, and I didn't understand. I thought it was just drug. It was kind of it's obviously the drug doing it to me because it just hits you so hard. Sometimes your heart's just pounding. It's insane. But I took a melatonin because I looked up how to like help. So I took a 10 milligrams of melatonin, and it doesn't put you to sleep. I did find out that 20 milligrams of melatonin will actually overcome LSD and put you to sleep. I did find that one out, and that was on the Wednesday trip earlier that week.
And that was just your personal experience.
Yeah. So 20 milligrams of melatonin
Put you to sleep.
Put me to sleep.
Okay.
So it actually beat the LSD, which is not supposed to happen. Like it shouldn't. And going back on
But you said you had already dropped tabin, so your brain had been releasing dopamine.
my brain was
massive.
hurt. My brain was hurt.
So, and that's the thing. That's why I was asking in such a short time, because your brain releases so much dopamine at such a time like that, especially on psychedelics, that it doesn't have enough time to refuel in a short amount of time if you're dropping. So the effect is less. It's like
you're just stupid at that point. I was stupid, and and like I told, it was an excuse. I was depressed. I was sad, so I needed drugs to feel, when really the drugs were just causing me to not feel, unless I was high.
Right.
Of course. So I took those 2 tabs, and in the result, I had really, really bad anxiety.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even drive it. I couldn't go in the back seat of a car without getting anxiety while I was driving.
Yeah.
I had to be in the front. If I wasn't in the front, I'd freak out and I had to get out of the car. I don't know why, because I wasn't even in the car when I had the anxiety attack. I think it was just like the momentum of the car. Like one time we were driving, and I said, "Bro, if you're not pull this car over right now, I'm gonna jump out." Because it was so. Everyone in here, I imagine, has dealt with anxiety at one point.
Yeah.
It feels like it's just like crushing you. Like it gets so bad, it's literally crippling you.
right.
And I was sitting in that car, I was like, "Bro, if you don't pull over, I'm gonna jump out of this car," because I felt like I was just stuck inside that car. And
This is why you're on drugs.
no, this is sober.
Okay, interesting.
This is sober. So it was just affecting my brain really.
This was that. So after your trips that you had.
Yeah, this was after that week period was when they just destroyed my brain.
Okay,
And
so now anxiety's freaking out. Your hormones are trying to come back. Your body's trying to regulate. Your brain's trying to get its levels back and freaking out.
And I didn't stop.
Yeah.
And my last trip ever, which was January 17th of this year.
Okay.
For 2 weeks after, I had to hold myself at night because I thought I was mentally insane.
Yeah.
And it was just like raging thoughts, like thoughts I would never had before, like just like murderous thoughts, like dangerous thoughts, like thoughts that I could, like whatever. I was starting to believe that I was a killer, like I was somebody, like I was changing into an angry person that just wanted to kill people. And that's not me. I want to love people. I love talking to people. I love this. It's like when Corey said, "You want to do this?" Like my heart jumped because I just want to talk to people. I want to be open about stuff and talk about stuff. And I read on my phone, it's just anxiety. Literally, right as I saw anxiety, like my entire body went away. I wasn't mentally insane. I was
You were able to label it now.
Yeah.
And as soon as you could
right as
label
my brain realized what it was and like knew what was happening, all those bad thoughts just disappeared. It was literally just racing anxiety, like anxious thoughts. And it was just because LSD, any drug really, will change the wiring in your brain. Every time you do it, it'll tweak it. That's why they say when you do acid or you do shrooms, you do Molly. And I've never touched Molly for some reason. That drug scares me. It's not even that bad, I've heard. But it changes you. So that's why when people like do psychedelics, it's like it'll change you, bro. Like it's gonna change your life. No, because it's literally changing you. Like everything in your brain, your neurons, everything literally get twisted. So that's the dangers of psychedelics is one trip, I don't think after my first trip ever, and I remember that night like it was yesterday as well. I don't think one trip it could. It depends on your brain. But my brain, it didn't really change me. I'd say the second or third trip is when I started noticing a difference in myself, and I was becoming a weirder person, and just I don't know if people are gonna like necessarily whatever. Like when people hear people talking about the dangers of drugs or whatever, not gonna happen to me. And that's exactly what I thought. None of it's gonna happen to me. I won't have these side effects, and I see tracers. That wasn't like not exactly that time, but I'll have my phone out and I'll shut it off and like move my phone and I see 5 on the screens. It's still on. I move my hand, I'll see 5 in my hand. Like it's just, and I haven't done LSD in 8 months now.
And this is something I would like to. So before I say this, would you, for high school students or anybody as well, would obviously you're saying you're completely sober now, correct?
I am. I'm completely sober. I have no toxins or drugs in my urine or blood system.
But that's like what you're looking to continue as being
Oh,
a
yeah,
sober
I,
lifestyle. Is that correct?
I don't. I mean, probably when I'm off probation, I'll probably smoke just as like a celebration. But after, I can't go back to that.
Right.
I refuse to be the way I was.
So, in your essence, so you're encouraging people to not do drugs.
So I don't do drugs. If you do drugs, be prepared.
Right, and that's something interesting because, especially with a chemical,
Mhm.
a chemical, a psychedelic, anything like that. There's so much garbage out in the world today. There's some things that you can do as far as testing before that.
Yeah, like fentanyl is crazy.
But there's a couple of universities in the nation, and I think one of them's Purdue. But there's one doctor who they're able to start because they're beginning to start getting into testing for positives of shrooms, of LSD, of different psychedelics.
You heard
and
that
there's
Denver actually decriminalized.
yeah,
that
Denver
shrooms.
and then Oakland as well.
That's crazy to me that they're like, oh, we're just gonna give you like a ticket.
Well, it from what they're finding out, and they used to use it actually for a lot of medicinal purposes.
They're microdosing it.
Right, and so what I would urge people to do is you got to know where it's coming from. There's so much garbage going on. You could have very well taken a lot of research chemical that was doing damage instead of good because person A says this is what it was, whether it is or wasn't, whether it wasn't. So all I'm urging you guys to do is do your research. If you're doing anything, do it under a doctor facilitated understanding, and know what's going into your body. Because if you don't know what's going into your body, it can cause a lot of damage. It can cause a lot of crazy events and crazy thoughts, like you had mentioned.
Especially if you're. I mean, I don't even know what the proper age to do drugs. There really isn't a proper age to do drugs because it's still going to affect. I mean, it might take you longer when you're older, but it's still going to do the same stuff. So don't do drugs. I've lived through the hell of it, and it's not worth the hype. It's definitely not worth the hype to live through the mental torture and even physical torture of it.
Yeah.
Like you change. You change a lot. And I think I'm back to myself. Like this is right now I feel the most like myself. And I haven't felt like this in probably 2 to 3 years.
I'm so glad to hear that, boss.
Yeah.
Congratulations as well.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. So if you're using anything, perfect, but use responsibly, very responsibly. Make sure you know what's going into your body because it gets interesting.
And even if it's weed, even if it's like weed, there's still, they say it's not addicting, but what I've learned is that it actually is addicting. The weed is addicting, and you have to be educated on it to realize it. But there's 3 zones: there's green, yellow, and orange. Orange, yellow is
3 zones of what?
Of like, and then there's red, which is addiction. So it's like that's like 4 zones actually. 4 zones, like the greens, like you're good, like you're just.
What chart are you referring to, though?
I don't remember the exact like chart name for it, but I could find out. But it's just like there's 4 colors. There's green, yellow, orange, and then red. Red is addiction. Green is you're clear, you're good. Yellow is when it becomes a social dependence. Orange when it becomes a psychological dependence. So social, if you go out with your friends and you smoke every time, that's social. If you're becoming like, oh, I need to smoke to go to school, I need to smoke to go to work, that's becoming a psychological dependence for it because you believe that you're better on the drug even though you're not.
So do you think drugs could be used medicinally?
I do. I believe for the right use, marijuana is good because for cancer.
Just marijuana?
I don't know. I mean, there's Adderall, and Adderall is controlled meth, and then you use small doses of shrooms, and it has the exact same effect. You think clearly. So I think honestly, if you're trying to study, don't do it a lot, and don't do Adderall a lot either. I had this Adderall that literally made people tweak. It made me tweak as well. Like it was a heavy dose. It's like it literally felt like you're on meth. Every time I used it, I wouldn't sleep for 2 days. Like it was pretty crazy. And but if you microdose shrooms and it helps you study, that's okay. Just do it maybe once every 2 months, once every 3 months. Don't be using these psychedelic drugs all the time.
I think depending on medicinal use, I think that's a very gray area to get into.
Well, it's hard to explain, you know, because you don't know at this point. Yeah, we're starting to get more familiar with drugs. We're not just saying, oh, we're bad, you know. Like Canada, the entire country is legalizing weed. I mean, legalize weed. Like we're starting to, I think, accept them in some ways if they're used properly. We're learning to accept them.
I mean, could you imagine this? I mean, look at back in the Prohibition days when alcohol was prohibited.
Yeah.
When people would start getting drunk, they would start talking. Man, they're not themselves. They're freaking out. Look, they're acting like a completely different person. They're this, and it's a evil. It's this. It's that. And then you do studies, and there is some, like for example, there's medicinal benefits to wine sometimes that has a resveratrol, I think is how you pronounce it in it. And there's some health benefits. So depending on what you're doing and depending the time frame, the knowledge set, the use and the purpose, I think there's a time and place for everything. But responsibility is absolute key.
Yeah, and I think it's, you know, if you're drinking, you always have to have a DD. Always.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, and sometimes there's cases where your friend group does have that sober friend. So you can always, I mean, they're obviously not going to always want to do it, go party with you. It's kind of boring for them because you're all messed up and stuff. But it's good to have a DD. And if you're a regular drinker, don't think, oh, I drink this much, I feel fine, go drive. In Utah, you blow over a 0.5, you're going to jail.
Yeah, I got a alcohol ticket when I was 16 years old, and I blew a .007. The cop sat there and laughed in my face. He's like, he's like, man, you could have just had some mouthwash. And I'm like, oh, damn, I just incriminated myself. And that was as soon as I was 6, I was like, man, all right, I get it. But I agree. Do not use drugs. Do not use what you don't know about, and do not get things from people who are not certified.
Do your research for sure.
Who are not certified to be able to have it. Agreed. But I do think responsibility, and there is a time and a place for everything that is available in essence.
Yeah. With like the weed smoking thing, people are like getting on board with it because, you know, it's becoming legal in some states, and not like recreational, but they're getting like medical uses. And just people that think just because that's happening, it doesn't make it legal for you. If they're using it medically, unless, you know, you have your green card, is that what they call it?
It's a medicinal card.
Yeah, medicinal card or whatever. Doesn't give you the excuse to smoke and go to work. You know, it doesn't give you the excuse to smoke and go to school. You need to smoke when you don't, like, because when you're high, a lot of people like to forget stuff. So you can't really go to do responsible things on weed or really any drug because you're gonna forget. You're gonna screw up. Ugh, I just choked on my spit. It's just, you need to do it when, you know, something like your job, that's your life. Like if you lose your job, you're out of your house, you're living on your own, you're gonna lose a lot of things.
So do you not think that people can do responsible things on cannabis?
I mean, it's not like other drugs where it's gonna cause you to go like crazy and stuff, but I mean, you can go shopping or whatever. I just don't go to school and don't go to work high. That's what I think. But you can go do some errands if you want. Just don't go to work or school, because those both could really, really tear down your life. If you lose your job, or you can't finish school and you have to drop out, especially if you're in college. You know, college is really difficult.
So I find that very interesting, because I know people on both sides of the fence, because I know people who, especially in the cannabis industry, who smoke every day.
Yeah.
And they get more done than 90% of the people that are sober their entire life. And they also are more productive than other people, depending on who the person is. So I really think it comes down to the person using and being able to get honest with yourself of, can I attain what I need to attain while under any influence I'm under, whether it even be sugar. If I'm eating all the sugar that I need, can I attain the goals that I need to attain, or am I worried about food the whole time?
Well, can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Those people that you know that do more things while they're smoking,
Yes.
do they do it all day, every day?
Yes.
That means, so what it does is the chemical.
Well, do they smoke all day every day, or are they productive all day?
They smoke all day.
It depends on the person, honestly.
Okay, well, the people that would say that they smoke all day to get stuff done, It's because the way it's teaching your brain is that when you're on that drug, your body's gonna be up. You're gonna be ready to go. When you're sober, you're dull.
But isn't
That's why when you have to, they feel like they have like this need that like when they're high, they're gonna get more stuff done because they're smoking and then doing the stuff repeatedly. So your brain becomes used to being high and doing it. So if they were here, I would challenge them to go sober and don't smoke and try to do the same stuff. And I guarantee that productive rate goes down.
That's interesting because even in my past, because I experiment both sides of the fence too, and depending on what I'm doing is going to affect it. So, for example, you mentioned school. There's times that I learn different when I'm under the
I think the
canvas
school
and whatnot.
helps because the creativity. I mean, I definitely see those sides of it, but as a high schooler,
Yes.
as a high schooler, don't do it because if you have it on you, especially,
Oh,
and then they find a
100%.
reason to search you, you're screwed.
And then
Like, you're
again
screwed.
comes responsibility.
Yeah,
into your life.
responsibility. So that's what I'm saying. Just if you're in high, like when you're an adult, whatever, it's your life.
Yeah.
But when you're in high school, like me messing up affected my family.
Right.
You messing up affects your family. It doesn't just affect you.
Right.
So like when you're in high school, I recommend if you want to go to work high as a high schooler, you're just going to be a broke high schooler because you're either be really unproductive and they're not going to want you there, or it's just going to screw you up being at this age because, some people, they get high, they get productive. They're, high, they run at a high level when they're high. Me, when I get high, I'm usually really talkative at first and I'll talk a lot. And then I'll usually just immediately, it only takes 45 minutes and I'm out.
Gotcha.
So, I don't know. It depends on the person. That's what it really comes down to.
No, I agree 100%. But let me ask you this, because you said, and that's where I think it comes to bringing the person again. You said people, if they smoke all day, every day, in your opinion, that they're training to be up there, and then as soon as they're dull. But just like you said, cannabis is a depressant.
Yeah,
right?
it is a depressant.
So,
but what it does, it's a depressant. So yeah, it's out. A lot of drugs are depressants. So, but with weed, it's a depressant that it can actually make you work better off of it. But then afterwards, I forgot what it's called because they taught me that it's like a gap where when you're on your come up, you're gonna learn really good right here. And you come up and you're still learning really good. You start losing. You're not really as in it. Your mind's not working the same. And then when you come back down into that area, you're gonna think the same. You're gonna learn. Once you drop out of that area, you go dumb. It's not the same. So it's this area. So if they keep smoking, they can maintain this area where they continue to learn. And it's actually scientifically proven there's a certain area where you'll learn better and you'll work better while high on weed. Once you hit above and below, it goes away.
So would you agree then that it just comes down to being responsible with what you're using?
Yeah, as if you're responsible and you can stay, if you're not completely messed up, when you're too high, you're too high, and you can't do anything. But if you can, your limits, how much, if I take 10 hits right now, I'm going to be good. And heavy smokers, usually the high goes away in 30 to 45 minutes.
So you got to keep rolling.
Yeah, so you got to keep in with the carts now, the dab carts. You can pull it out of your pocket. You don't have to even go outside.
Right.
So you can keep this maintained high all day.
Yeah.
And you never go down until you go to sleep at night. And then you wake up the next day and you go right back into that zone and you're maintaining this zone. And you're just staying in this area. So your brain's working learning in that zone. But once you go below it, I can't remember if it's above, but I think above, it's not necessarily forget you're not doing as good, but it's kind of you're in that middle gray area when you go, but it's too much, and that's too high, I guess you could say.
Gotcha.
But when you go below this state dependent line or something it's called, you can actually, I'm pretty sure you can look it up in 3 seconds, but it's a state dependence line. So if you stay in between this area, you're going to learn better and you're going to be more productive. But if you fall below, you're going to be a slug and be worthless.
Gotcha.
So there's people that can smoke and just maintain this area. They're going to be great.
Yeah.
But then you take them off that drug for they've been doing it. They're smoking weed for months. You take them off that drug, and they're a regular smoker. They're doing it every day.
Yeah.
And it is addictive, so you can technically call them addicted. I think I dropped weed, cold turkey. It was easy for me. I did it a lot. But you take them off that drug and test them for a week. Their productivity is just going to go. It's just going to be at the bottom because they're going to feel the need to get high to be better at whatever they're doing. And it's just how the chemical works in our brain. So if we can stay in that zone, you could be a millionaire smoking weed every day. And if you stay in that zone, you're gonna do amazing. Most millionaires, they have amazing brains and they can just keep it. They're sharp. But people that are young, learning, if you can stay inside that zone, you are going to be more productive. You're going to be smarter in the sense that your creativity is going to be up. The way you think about things is going to be doubled, because when you're on marijuana, it has one of the I can't even think of the word right now. Like not really a side effect. You can't really call it a side effect, but your creativity and your thought and depth is doubled, tripled. I can, when I'm high, I can sit there, think of something stupid and make an entire story of it. Or I can think of an idea, a business idea or something, and I can just expand on it.
Right.
I can just go for days thinking about this idea. It's just the creativity that comes out of smoking weed. I think it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever experienced. I write music.
Okay.
And I love writing music when I'm high.
Gotcha.
And the weird thing I find about writing my music is when I'm high, I don't write about drugs. When I'm sober, I write about drugs. So I don't know what that is, but it's just something that happens. When I'm high, I'm writing about a girl, something like that.
Yeah.
When I'm sober, I'm writing about LSD. I'm writing about weed. I don't know what it is. I don't know what that is, why that's happening, but it's just something that will happen. I started writing a song the other day, and it was literally it's a song that it sounds like I'm singing to a girl, but really I'm singing to cocaine. And that was sober.
Yeah.
But I can't. It's like that. That concept is really hard for me to write, so I'm working on it right now. But when I'm sober, I'm writing about drugs.
Gotcha.
And I've had times now that I'm sober and everything that my friends have talked about, doing coke, doing drugs, and I literally will start my fingers will start moving, my toes will curl, my body feels like it needs it, and it scares me knowing that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be a drug addict.
Right.
And my toes will curl and people start talking about cocaine and stuff because it excites me.
Yeah. So what would you be able to, especially now that you're working to continue to have a sober life, continue to go down that path, you're going to conquer this year.
Yeah.
You're really going to start changing the game for yourself and getting these new results. What would you say for somebody that is just they have that pride and saying just like, because I've been that way too, and how you said you felt, it's this isn't going to faze me, of trying new things, especially at a party or the peer pressure or whatever it is. What would you say to them that are thinking of beginning to experiment and they don't really understand what they're experimenting with?
Stop. Don't do it.
Right.
If you don't do your research and you start doing hard drugs, I didn't do my research on Percocet. I did it every day for a week straight. And I started liking it.
Yeah.
And pills are, and if you get an addiction to pills, it's gonna be real rough for you. So I just cold turkey dropped it.
Yeah.
My last use, I did 20.
Did you go through withdrawals?
Maybe a little bit. I had headaches and stuff, but not we're at a point where I'm shaking. I'm it's not bad, because I think I did it right before the point where it was pretty getting bad.
Gotcha.
And my last use on Percocet was 20 milligrams. I did up 2 pills, and I sniffed lines of Percocet before, and it's supposed to work. The best way I ever had it was when I actually just took the pill. That was the best way for me, and I liked it more. But just stay away from pills. If you're starting to experiment, stick with weed and follow my dad's advice. Do it on the weekends, only once a week, because then you get a good high and you're not dependent on that drug. If you like how it makes you feel, you're not going to listen to what I have to say. Don't overdo yourself. You don't need to smoke an ounce a day like I did. You don't need to.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, ounces are starting to go for more and more because the weed's starting to get better, I guess. When we used to buy ounces, it was $130 for an ounce, which is still that's a good amount of money.
Right, it is a good.
But that's 28
grams.
Yeah, 28 grams, and that's $130 is 13 grams realistically. But you do these how weed dealing and even other drugs, I imagine, I don't know how it works, but you do these larger amounts, they give you a deal. So you buy 28 grams for $130, and it's $10 a gram. So we'd be, and when we first started, it wasn't even we were literally smoking ounces out of apples. Like it wasn't like we had pipes. We were smoking ounces. That takes a long time.
I gotta be honest, like I'm trying to picture 28 grams going through an apple in a day.
We had multiple apples. We literally, oh, this one's done, throw it out the window, and we'd go to the wall, we drive, go get another one, and go right back to the exact same spot. Like we'd go through apples a day. And then I mean it wouldn't all go through. Obviously we'd meet up with people and they had wraps or whatever. So we could smoke blunts and stuff. And just if you're listening to this and you're starting to experiment with drugs, or you've been experimenting with drugs, just know your limits. Don't trust a tolerance because it's just a lie that your brain's trying to tell you.
Don't trust a person at a party.
Don't trust anything you get at a party. Don't take anything at a party unless it's your friends. Unless you know the person, then it's okay. And especially if you know the dealer and they're secure and you've smoked or done any other drugs for them before, then that's usually okay. Sometimes, dealers will even get bad stuff and they don't even know it.
And that's the thing, you just gotta be so, and this is what I'd urge people, is just to know what you put into your body. Know exactly where it came from. And if you don't know exactly where it come from, exactly what it is, exactly how it's gonna make your body, just don't.
Yeah, just don't do it. I mean,
just don't do stuff you don't know about. Don't do stuff that could walk you down a negative path.
Yeah, and if you're if you're a really good student, you're up there in like the 3.7s and above in GPA, don't do it. If you're failing in school, that's even a bigger reason for you not to do drugs. If you're failing, like I was failing in school.
Yeah.
I mean, it hurts when you're failing. Like it really like you want to say, oh, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't, like it was killing me.
Yeah.
I was being tough about I don't care. Really, it felt like I had literally the world on my shoulders.
Yeah.
And that's what also will hurt, affects you not to go up, is because you feel like I have all this pressure, I can't get up.
And it has the word fail in it. Failing.
Yeah.
That's a big word.
It hurts. And that's what I think one thing is about with school is when you start having missing, you have to stay on top of it. Because once you start getting missing assignments, you're gonna feel that pressure.
Right.
It's gonna start building. It's gonna feel like bricks just piling on top of your shoulders. So if you just stay on top of it, it's still gonna be difficult, no doubt. But and this is, everyone that's listening to this probably knew this guy sucks at school. Why is he telling me this? But thing is, I've realized this stuff.
Yeah.
And going from a kid that struggled to even get a 2.0.
Yeah.
So the final term of last year, or maybe it wasn't the final term. I got my highest GPA ever. When I started trying a little bit more, I got a 3.2.
Yeah.
The best GPA I ever had. I'm proud. I finished with a 96% math.
Yeah.
Math? Are you kidding me?
Awesome.
And it was it felt really good.
Right.
And so now I'm shooting for nothing lower than 3.6 every term.
Beautiful. So tell me this: so you're taking the approach to have a sober lifestyle, moving forward. You want to help people. Obviously, what I've found is you can't help people that don't want to be helped.
Yeah.
You can't push a wet noodle up a hill.
Yeah.
It's going to start disintegrating, But what can we do to assist you in leading the sober lifestyle, conquering your senior year, as well as helping anybody around you that's going through something where they feel stuck? They started experimenting with drugs, they got stuck, and how can we help to give you a platform to be the example to help lead them into a sober lifestyle to live a better life?
For me, just motivation, just telling me to just keep going. You got it. That's because I've already I felt that pain of the drugs, the whiplash of it,
Yeah.
But
and especially just like you were saying, it only takes one time.
Yeah, it took me one time. I spent 2 days in jail, PT, and now I'm paying thousands of dollars of fines, and I have to pay for my license. I thought, I'm just gonna get my license back. Now I have to pay $500 for that. And my dad is making me pay $2,500 for my lawyer. Got a really good lawyer.
If I gave you a book after this is all over, would you read it?
What's the book called? What's it about?
I'm about to go pick it out of my library as soon as we're done here.
All right.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Would you read it?
I probably would. If the conversation we're having right now sounds like I definitely would.
Okay. So I'm not going to give it to you if you don't read it, but we'll talk about it as soon as we're done here.
All right. Lost what we were talking about. I lost my spot.
Just what can we do to help you?
Right.
Obviously, we're gonna
just keep
supporting.
Yeah, just keep me motivated. Just keep me going. I just at this point in my life, I just need people to maybe not give me the, so I believe that I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
I believe that now I'm on the right path.
And you don't need to be talked down to about the mistakes you've made.
Yeah.
You need to be
Don't
talked up with
remind
where
me.
you're going.
Yeah, don't remind me.
Yeah,
of my
you already
mistakes.
know.
Yeah, don't remind me of my mistakes. I know.
Right.
I felt it. Like it wasn't just like they were there. Like it felt like I felt it.
Yeah.
I felt a lot of pain for the last. I'd say last year was hard because of the drug use, but I've been. I'm not. I don't believe I'm depressed anymore. I think I've got out of that. So
That's
But-
cool, man.
the summer going into my 9th grade year is when I was becoming depressed.
Mm.
And it's a dumb reason, and she knows the reason. I had a girlfriend in my 8th grade year. We
Yeah.
dated for 10 months.
Yeah.
And then she broke up with me and got with a dude 3 days later.
Yeah.
And feeling that as that age hurt.
Yeah.
Nowadays, I'd be like, screw you. Like, if you're going to treat me like that, I should have never dated you.
Huh.
I just didn't read that part of you. And, I've just felt a lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of sadness. And, feeling like I don't have people.
Right.
Even though I have tons of friends, I have
Yeah.
people there for me every single day of my life. One of them's right there. It's just if he got me my job that I have now, I'm working at Chili's, and I really enjoy it.
Awesome.
But I just have people in my life, and I felt like I was alone. Now I'm starting to realize that what my parents were doing.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. And as a kid, you don't.
Right.
And then eventually start growing up, and you're like, oh, I'm getting it. I get this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I felt a lot of pain, a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, of course. But I just need people to just basically say, Sam, you got this.
Yeah.
You got this. And for other kids that are struggling in school and feel like they're in a hole and they're never going to get out of it, you'll get out of it. I promise you'll get out of it. Because I'm out of it.
Yeah.
My legs are still in the hole. I'll admit, my legs are still like dangling in the hole.
But you stopped going down.
I'm
You
fine.
said, just like a basketball, you hit rock bottom and boom, you're bouncing
I'm
back
bouncing
up.
way back up. I have confidence. I haven't had confidence in a minute.
That's incredible.
Yeah, like it's just I'm gonna say my legs are still dangling in the hole.
Yeah. And that's
I'm still
okay.
kicking. I'm kicking.
Yeah.
But I'm figuring out life.
And you're
I should-
crawling back out.
Yeah, I should expect my legs to still be kicking in the hole. But I gotta keep going. I gotta get myself out of this hole I'm in. And everyone in life should never quit because I read this quote. It's like, if you're not happy, it's not the end of your life.
Yeah.
Once you're happy, everyone gets happy again. So once you're happy, that's when that's when you can say, okay, this is this is the end of my life. You cannot die unhappy. I don't believe in that. You're gonna die once you've succeeded. I'm not necessarily religious, but everything God has planned for you, once you fulfill that, is when it's your time. Once He believes that you've done the purpose why He puts you here, is when He's gonna say, all right, and He's gonna step back, and then life's gonna kick in. I mean, it might not be immediately, obviously, because people retire and stuff, and they're just, there's a teacher at my school that actually, he literally doesn't have to work.
Yeah.
And he literally became a teacher just because he wants to educate the kids.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need it. He could quit. He doesn't need to be there. He's just doing it.
This is a current teacher you have at school?
Yeah, his nickname's B-Mac,
Okay.
Mr. McNabb. And he's an amazing teacher. Today was the first day of school and the first day I met him, but I can already tell this guy is, an intellectual. He has something, because he was in business, I think he said, for 20 years before he decided to be a school teacher. And it's all about purpose, like you said earlier. It's about all this purpose. And I told my dad this. I'm like, Dad, my purpose. My purpose is like, no, it's about money. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's about your purpose. And once you find your purpose, you'll get the money.
The money comes.
Yeah, the money comes once you find your purpose. But you just gotta set out. You have goals, not necessarily a career, not necessarily having a family, having kids, none of that. Little goals, making your bed in the morning.
Yeah.
It's just this little sense, that just making your bed in the morning could literally make you feel 2 times better.
Yeah.
I'm lazy. I don't make my bed, but I know that if I did, I'd probably feel a lot. I'm groggy in the morning, but I bet if I just got up, did something, I might start.
That's what I'm going to challenge you to do right now. Is to start.
Like talking about it, I'm probably gonna start making my bed every morning. And I actually just got a huge responsibility in my life. It's like having a baby. I just barely bought a puppy.
Okay.
So, and she's 11 and a half weeks old now.
Yeah.
Her name is Lulu. She's
Okay.
an Australian Shepherd Border Collie.
Nice.
Wakes me up at 6 a.m. every morning.
That's good. That means you can be more productive.
Yeah, I have to feed her. I have to bring her out to go to the bathroom at night. I have a big responsibility with this dog, and she's adorable, and she has tons of energy. So I have two other dogs. One's a Chihuahua. He's 6. He's really fat. Doesn't move much. And a 12-year-old border collie. And I think she's bringing the youth back in him, and that excites me because he's my big dog. You know, I love that dog. But I surprised my parents with this responsibility, and my parents were like, "You're giving it back." I was like, "Who am I going to give it back to?" I bought it off KSL. Like, and this guy lived 4 hours away.
Yeah.
But I told she was actually on the list for $50.
Gotcha.
So they obviously didn't want her too bad. But I said, if you meet me halfway, I'll pay 100 for it because I really wanted her.
Yeah.
And I got her, and I don't have any regrets about it. And it's teaching me.
Good. And that's what it's about, boss. And I just want you to know, moving forward, you have massive amount of resources, whether it be through Corey, the Trail Ninja, whether it be through reaching out to me, anything I can do for you. And I know he feels the same. Anything
100%.
we can do for you to help you continue to, because you made this choice to live a better lifestyle. You made this choice to start climbing out of the hole. Anything we can do to help propel you out of that hole and propel anybody around you who is trying to make that choice with you, don't hesitate to reach out, because that's the more people we can help win, the better. And
Thank you. I appreciate
And
that.
people say that a lot. Don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't
Yeah.
be afraid to ask.
Yeah. And it's a law, boss. Asking you shall receive, but you have to ask to be able to get the help you need, and don't be too I was too prideful for so long to ask for the help that I needed.
Me too.
And you have some major resources, and I just want to say I'm proud of the decisions you're making, boss, and I'm excited to see where you go moving forward, because you have a story that as you continue to develop and continue to grow, that's going to be able to impact somebody. And it might not be right now, it might be in 10 years from now, that there's going to be somebody that's in the exact same position that you were in, that doesn't know how to get out, but because you have facilitated a spot in their life, you can help guide them.
Yeah, and that's what I want to do. You know, I want to. A thing I've always wanted to do is, talk to kids about drug use, depression, stuff like that. I mean, obviously, they're not going to listen to me. Kids never do. I mean, some of them do. You make an impact on some of them.
Well, just like you were talking about those videos.
Yeah.
They scared you.
They
The
did.
video scared you enough to make an impact. Say, you know what? I shouldn't be driving drunk. I shouldn't be driving under the influence. And that's a good thing, to be able to make an impact to where they want to do something good instead of bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying to go scare the piss out of everybody,
No,
so they can do something. but guiding somebody in a good direction.
I just want to let them know what the dangers are,
Yes.
because that's something when you're going into like the drug world and stuff. Nobody really. I mean, they say it, but it's not like they really express it. They're like, "Oh, watch out this." Like, it's just really quick, and you're like, "Oh, you just blow it up,"
Right.
and you never think about it again. You just you just are worried about getting high.
Yeah. The next thing you know, you could be getting into gangs, you could be getting into to negative decisions, just like you're talking about, that cause jail time and cause different stuff, and you don't even know how deep you got before you do.
Yeah, I definitely, like, this decision was it was last year, and I'm not going to go into complete detail.
Yeah, no worries, boss.
But basically what happened is we went to some guys and we did some things, and we ended up with $1,000 worth of weed. So I really don't like talking about that usually, just because that's something I'm like, holy crap.
Right.
Like, why?
But look at where you're going now, into a better path.
Oh yeah, I just want, where I was at in that point is doing drugs. Like, I didn't care. I didn't care about people at that age. I mean, I cared about people, but only the people I was getting high with. And it was more, it was just not me.
Yeah.
And now that I'm sober, I realize that, and I hate that. That's why I'm saying I can never go back to being who I was, because that was stupid of me.
Yeah.
When I really, really could have been right now, I have a full schedule of classes. If I really just did school, wasn't doing all the drugs, I could probably only have 1-2 classes right now. I could actually graduate, because I was at an online school last year. I could have probably graduated.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sitting here with a full schedule for at least the first semester, second semester, I only had 1 day of school. But if I was smart, I definitely could be right now 1 day of school.
Right.
And that hurts me when I hear people, "Oh, I have release periods." Like, dang, I have to be here all day, both days. So I just have to kill myself for the next 2 terms.
Put in the work, boss.
Yeah.
Put in the work, you get the reward. And I'll give you my number after this, and should you ever start having thoughts where, just like you were saying, your friends are around and they're talking about drugs, and sometimes sometimes those aren't the friends you need to be around.
Yeah,
you
no,
know, but
I'm definitely not around those people as much.
that's good, boss. But if you do need anything and you get those temptation thoughts and you just need somebody to let it out and talk to,
Yeah.
you can give me a call. It don't matter if it's 3 a.m, boss, or middle of the day. We're here to
I
help
appreciate
people.
that.
Our pleasure, man. We appreciate you having on. Before we wrap things up, Uncle Corey, do you have any last words to say?
Yeah, you got this, Sam.
Thank you. That's the motivation I need.
Yes,
right there.
for real,
Just
boss.
the little things. Just
Yep.
the little things will push me.
You truly do, boss. You truly do. What about you, Sid?
You know I'm always here for you. I always have been. You've always
We've
been
been
my
friends
best
for a
friend.
long. We've
Yeah.
been friends for a long time.
So, and that's good. She's a good person to be around, boss. A heart of gold. And then what about you? Do you have any last words for anybody listening moving forward here?
Go to school. If you want, smoke a little bit of weed just because you're growing up and it's part of growing up, but really watch out for these dangers. Hopefully you actually listen to the dangers I've been telling you, because drugs are fun until they're not fun, and they are actually the scariest thing in your life. And the one thing that's really the anchor on, around your waist, and it's just dragging you down. You just don't ever try to get, don't ever get in the hole. We never try to, none of us ever try to get into the hole, but it just happens. But do your best to stay out of the hole, and drugs are not going to help you stay out of that hole. I learned that. Limit your drug use, limit your alcohol use. Just go to school, get your work done, because you may be your sophomore year. I'll have 3 more years. I just barely hit my senior year, and it's like, holy crap, I'm actually almost done. Like it's a surreal moment when you're like, this is my last year of high school.
Yeah.
Like it's an amazing feeling. And, knowing that I'm going to be 18 in January.
Yeah. So
knowing that I'm actually no longer a kid, really, I'm still a kid for the next 4 months, 5 months, whatever. But knowing that you're becoming an adult, you have to think, do I want to be making these decisions as an adult?
right.
Like, as an adult, I would expect most people to want to be more mature about it and want to be more grown up, and drugs are not grown up. Drinking responsibly is grown up once you're of age and you're 21. As long as you don't drive or do anything stupid like hurt people. And my final message is just go to school, be you, be a positive person. Don't focus on the negative, and you're gonna be you're all amazing people, and you can do whatever you want.
I love that, boss. Thanks so much for coming on. And just so you guys know, he's not the only person in this position. And if you guys are going through anything similar, don't hesitate to reach out. If you guys are following me on Instagram, if there's anything that I can do for you, whether it be a word of advice, you just need a listening ear, you just need to get it out and find direction. I don't know all the answers, or just like Corey said, we're all learning. Everybody's learning every day on this roller coaster that we call life. But if there's any way that I can help you guys go through anything you're going through, don't hesitate to reach out. We're blessed to have you guys listening. And again, as always, coming to you raw.
That was dope. That was
Long.
amazing. That was amazing.